It is now 5 o'clock, so we will call our meeting to order. Mr. Frady, are we good online? Thank you. Did we give notice to the media? Thank you. I appreciate that. And I do declare that we have a quorum with all board members present. And I would like to just take a moment. As the chairperson and presiding officer over the meeting, I've met with our local sheriff department concerning our rights and ability to conduct orderly meetings. So I'd like to make the following statement. Under state law and board policy BE, meetings of the board are open to the public. However, members of the public in attendance of our meetings must respect the ability and the right of the board to conduct its meetings without disruption from any person or persons. State law provides that any person willfully disrupting a board meeting to the extent that orderly conduct of the meeting is seriously compromised may be removed from the meeting. Such willful disruptions may include loud and repeated verbal outbursts or comments or remarks from persons attending the meetings. The Sheriff's Department's indicated its willingness to remove any person who engages in such behavior, and the board may request that the Sheriff's Department remove individuals who disrupt our meetings through these verbal outbursts or other behavior, and may do so without prior warning to the individual. Thank you.
And you say that come from who?
That was between a meeting between myself and the Lawrence County Sheriff's Department, and I consulted our attorneys.
Wait, Kathy, I didn't hear you.
The Sheriff's Department, and I consulted our attorneys. They actually wrote the statement.
Okay, but it ain't got to do with policy, because our policies, our meetings are governed by policy.
Right, and it follows our board policy, which is policy BE.
But the sheriff's department shouldn't have any problem, shouldn't have any in determining that.
Well, we would make that determination if someone created an outburst.
Are you reading from the policies that's already been established?
This is from the policies, but it was developed by the attorney.
Right, thank you.
Okay. So we will now move forward with our agenda, and so we do need approval to do that. If anyone. Thank you, Ms. Kitt.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Are there any questions regarding the agenda? All those in favor of approving the agenda, please raise your hand. All right, that's unanimous. Thank you. I do want to welcome everyone tonight, and I do want to mention that we just finished a work session where Ms. Gwen Hampton from the South Carolina School Board Association came and presented a Back to the Basics boardmanship workshop, and I think that all of us sitting up here found it to be very beneficial. It was very good for all of us, and we had good open conversation during that time, and we want to use this as a platform to move forward. To move beyond any disagreements and bring a united front. So with that, thank you for being here today. And now I would like to have two Ford Elementary students come forward to do our Pledge of Allegiance. And Mr. Watson, I'll allow you to introduce your students.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have with us Maya Ham. Maya Ham is a sports athlete, but Maya Valdez and Odin Valdez. These students are new to us, and the reason we chose these students is because they are coming to us from a military family. Just joined us this year, so we felt like who would be better to lead us in the pledge than these that are part of a military family. So welcome, Odin and Maya Valdez. If we could get everyone to stand, please. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You all may be seated. Thank you, Mia Ham, Mia Valdez.
Thank you, Maya and Odin. Thank you, Mr. Watson. We will now move to our prayer, and Mr. Chip Jenkins will deliver our prayer tonight.
If you will bow with me, please. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we're thankful for the opportunity for us to gather here in this place to look at the business of Lawrence District 55, and we just pray your Spirit will give us wisdom and insights to make this the best district that we can make it. Call upon your Spirit to move in this place and to speak to our hearts. In your Son's name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. We now need a motion to approve the minutes for the August 28th meeting.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Thank you, Ms. Elders. Any questions regarding that agenda? All those in favor of approving the minutes for August 28th, please raise your hand. That's unanimous. Thank you. Is that you? Go ahead.
Good evening. The South Carolina School Boards Association developed the Boardsmanship Institute. This institute has 6 levels and offers year-round training that focuses on leadership skills on state and national level issues. Points are awarded based on the number of trainings attended. This evening, we're recognizing 3 of our trustees who've reached new milestones in their service. We will be presenting them with certificates and pins. Mr. Mike Hughes, who joined our district board in 2020, has accumulated over 25 points, earning him level 1 recognition. This evening, he will receive a certificate from the South Carolina School Boards Association, and thank you, Mr. Hughes, for your service. Chairman Kathy Little joined the district school board in 2018 and has accumulated over 100 points, earning a level 3. She will receive a certificate as well as a gold pin. Thank you, Ms. Little, for your service. Vice Chair Anthony Carpenter has accumulated over 300 points, earning a level 6. This level requires that you've met level 5 for at least 1 year and that you have passed an online test. The South Carolina School Boards Association will honor him and present his plaque and pin during the South Carolina School Boards Association annual convention in February. For this evening, we will recognize his work and dedication to our district since he joined in 1999. Thank you, Mr. Carpenter, for your many years of service. I would like to ask everyone to join me in congratulating our 3 trustees. Mr. Mike Hughes, Chairman Kathy Little, and Vice Chair Anthony Carpenter, if you would please join me in front of the table to receive your certificate and pins.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. Now we move on to our Ford Elementary School report, and that will be presented by Mr. Zach Watson.
Good evening, Superintendent Thomas, members of the board, as well as our cabinet and community members. Welcome to Ford. I am Zach Watson, principal here at Ford Elementary School, and I have the pleasure of welcoming you all in and sharing our processes with you tonight. I want to start with our vision. Our vision here at Ford is to be the very, very best on all performance measures, be the #1 ranked school on all performance measures. It takes growth and development, as well as hard work and dedication by our champions that are here with us tonight. This year, we're focused on elevating our impact on all areas. And in order for us to reach that vision, We have to start with the big rocks first. And the big rocks start with our setting the tone with our climate as well as our environment. So we established here at our school a house of champions, and each one of our students are a part of 3 different houses of champions. I'm going to share that with you now. The House of Victory, House of Triumph, and Success. All students here are attached to a special adult and a special team, and we utilize these houses to create challenges around our 4 pillars of being responsible, respectful, ready to learn, and safe. These students engage in challenges around those areas of academics as well as the social and emotional pieces. Each of the students from 4K to 5th grade learn their creed. They speak that creed and they show pride in their houses as they go throughout the days here at school. They speak about being courageous and creative and honest and ready to learn when they're here at school. And then they use those creeds as a way of building their confidence for themselves and their buddies around them. Now our staff, we consider them champions as well. So I would be remiss if I did not introduce them. We have our custodians, Ms. Blue, Ms. Abird, Ms. Polito. I don't think they're here with us, but we also have maybe our cafeteria staff here with us. Ms. Jones, Ms. Gail Jones, Ms. Nelson, Godfrey, Mosley, Irby, and Austin. That's our champion staff there. And then our 4K and 5K, what I call our lower school, Ms. Sales and Leggett. Ms. Sales is our Teacher of the Year this year. I believe she's here with us. She and Ms. Leggett are a team there at one of the 4K classes. Ms. Leggett was a previous district staff member of the year. So we've got some champions there, along with Ms. Savage, Ms. Dowdle, and our foster grandparent, Ms. McWilliams. They head up our 4K. We also have Hobbs and Shaw, or Hobbs and Knight, our primary Montessori group. And that group does a great job with our Montessori students. They lead that group into being champions day in and day out. And our 5K staff, a few of which are new to us. Ms. Johnson and Ms. Edwards, a great duo, just joined us last year, but they've been phenomenal. Ms. Malone and Ms. Hughes. Ms. Hughes was new to us last year, did a great job. And we also have Ms. Pilgrim and Mr. Young there at 5K. Mr. Young came on last year and did a phenomenal job as well. We move into our 1st grade. We have Ms. Fortner, Garrett, and Squires, all 1st grade teachers. Ms. Fortner's been with us a while. Garrett and Squires, this is their 2nd year with us. And then our 2nd grade, another somewhat new group of individuals was Ms. Irby, Moore, and Stemmen. Ms. Moore's been with us a while. Ms. Irby's new to her 2nd year, and Stemmen is in her 3rd year coming off of the 2nd COVID year. Ms. 3rd grade is Ms. Heisey, Mrs. Plummer, and McKelvey. Ms. McKelvey's anchor at that grade level. She's been with us a while. Ms. Heisey and Plummer are new to us this year. We also have a 4th grade group that is partly new. We have Ms. Baker. She's new to 4th grade, but not new to our school. She's been with us several years. Ms. Caldwell Smith is the anchor there. She's been at 4th grade several years. And Ms. Mann, who is shaped up to be our newcomer of the month, has done a great job in coming in and acclimating and getting her students ready for success. And then I finalized with our 5th grade group, Ms. Arnold, Cooper, and Thompson Monroe. That's another new group with the exception of Ms. Arnold. Ms. Cooper's done an amazing job coming in and teaching math from the middle school, and Ms. Thompson Monroe moved from 4th to 5th grade with the students that she served last year. Our administrative staff consists of Ms. Jones, who does everything from translating to manning the front office, does a great job. Ms. Seabird, who is probably here with us taking pictures. She's our yearbook guide, a photographer, as well as our attendance clerk. And then Ms. B. Madden, who's our bookkeeper, and she fills in everywhere she needs to make sure that we're operating successfully. And then we'll move right into our related arts. Ms. Baxley, who is our music teacher, Ms. Kay Madden, our art teacher, Coach S, Mr. Sangaline, we call him Coach S, and Grandma Juliet, another one of our foster grandparents is there in physical ed, and our new media specialist, maybe in her 2nd year, Ms. Earl, joined us. That's actually rejoining us because she was one of our resource teachers prior to coming in as our media specialist. And then we also have Ms. Williams as our computer lab teacher, and Ms. Gibson there in the ISS, and Ms. Gibson fills in wherever needed as well. Now we have our ESL teachers, and somewhat new, Ms. Crookshanks joined us last year, Ms. Reynolds joined us this year, and Ms. Turner joined us last year, so we have a new group there. Mr. Botu is our idols. Ms. Allen is our speech teacher. Ms. Williams Miller is our gifted and talented. Ms. Brewington, Floyd Ferguson, Marino, and Woodruff are all of our interventionists, and they do a great job with that intervention service for our students. And then finally is our instructional leadership team, consists of Ms. Brown, Dr. Davenport, Mr. Hunter is our guidance, Ms. England, and myself heads up that team. Now, a few years ago, I provided the board with the book, Start With Your Why. I always want us each year to revisit our why. These faces, the energy that these students are showing right now, making sure that we're providing them with engaging learning opportunities. We feel like elementary is the foundation for learning. So we want to establish an environment with our elementary students that they feel like bursting through the doors each day. And this is an example of why we do what we do each day, to put those smiles on those students' faces and create an environment where they can thrive. Now, our mission is how we get that accomplished. So our mission is to provide a positive, encouraging educational climate that enables each child to build a core body of knowledge and master key skills that support their social, emotional, and academic development. All parts of that are what are important to ensure that we're allowing our elementary schools to leave middle school ready, making sure that we take care of all components of each of our students. So that's our mission day in and day out. In order for us to have a mission, we have to have priorities. Our priorities are first to be safe and orderly. That safety just does not simply mean the physical environment with the cameras, and we have our SROs and all here. That's a component of it, but the emotional safety of our students, making sure that our students show up here on a daily basis and that they understand that they are nurtured, protected, and educated. So we want to make sure that all facets of that safety piece is in place. And then making sure that we have an orderly environment, processes that allow for our students to move throughout and get their needs taken care of in an orderly fashion. Second order is definitely our high quality instruction. It's kind of where the rubber meets the road in any school. To make sure that on a daily basis we're providing instruction to our students that's well planned, that's standards based, as well as needs based. And it takes a number of things to ensure that that's happening, and that's just a part of our continuous improvement process. And then our impactful parental and community engagement. It's important to me and to our staff that we give our parents an opportunity to engage in this process. We want to make sure that parents are allowed to have two-way communication, that we're transparent with them when we're communicating. We want to give them opportunities to understand the daily operations so they can better serve their students. So we provide those opportunities in a number of ways, and we want to make sure that we're keeping them engaged and informed of what's happening on a daily basis. Community engagement is important in that the school is, aside from the church, the most sacred place in a community. So we want to make sure that we bring our community in and allow them to help support us and undergird the work that we're doing here. And then that continuous improvement piece is the final one, and it's just making sure that we're doing those things that get us results, and when they're not, we want to look at those root causes and find a solution to anything that is an impediment to the learning and the development of our students. So our process is to make that happen. We believe in shared leadership. You know, when we put our heads together, we can do a lot more than just one or two people. So we have teams of better seekers, and those better seekers are divided into an academic team, an operations team, an events and activities team, and those individuals work together to ensure that we're operating smoothly and that we have that continuous improvement process taking place. So when there's an issue within any of those areas, those teams get together and seek a solution and then present it to the staff so that we can move forward collaboratively. Going back to that parental involvement piece, two-way communication is super, super important. Not only do we want to get information out to our parents, but we also want our parents to have an opportunity to provide information back to us. We want to give them opportunities to ask questions, to get answers to their questions, to suggest. And sometimes they have great ideas that we can implement here at our school. So we have a number of pieces that we're putting together this year. One new that I'm really excited about, our FBI, I call it Fathers Being Involved, to get our parents the opportunities to join us, not just for field days and spring flings and things of that sort of PTA meetings, but to join us on the daily journey that we're taking with their most precious cargo, their children. So it's important to us that we get them the opportunities to be a part of that. Those community partnerships that we have, and we're somewhat proud of these as they're growing. 7-Eleven joined us right away. As soon as they got started there on 221, they extended their hand to us and have since then been amazing for us. Walmart, not only Walmart, the super center, but the distribution center is a partner with us. In fact, the chairs that you all are sitting in there are a product of that partnership. They provided those for us so that when we have these type of events, we have seating. We also have Lucas Avenue Baptist Church. They are an amazing partner to us, always have been. Ms. Marino has a group with them that are our buddy readers. They just do an amazing job supporting our students, and anytime we call on them, they're there for us. In fact, our award ceremonies this year will be held at their church. This Models Academy is new to us. We're working with them to get that process going with our young men. Very, very excited about that because we have some students that definitely benefit from that partnership. And then McDonald's joined us this year. Very, very happy to have them on. I know our students are. And last but not least is Little Caesars. They take care of us when we need them. All we have to do is call and they're there for us. So that community partnership is a part of our process, and we want that to continue to grow. Now, as we move into our next area, it's more about the instruction, planning and delivery of standards-based instruction with coaching, support, and reflection. Planning and delivery of that instruction is one thing, but making sure that we are constantly providing opportunities for our teachers to be reflective, providing them with the support that they need to be the most effective educators for our students is key to us and our ability to reach our goals. So we want to make sure that all of those components are in place for our students. And I'm going to show you some data here shortly that kind of speaks to why that's super important. And then having data-informed, needs-based remediation and extension. Making sure that we're not just hanging the data for the purpose of it being visible, but ensuring that we're digging into that data and using it to inform our instruction and providing instruction for our students based on their needs and deficits, as well as those areas where they are superstars. And then last but not least, ensuring that we have needs-based social and emotional supports. Making sure that we protect and nurture our children and make sure that we take care of the entire child, meeting their needs from the time they arrive here until the time they go home, and in many cases making sure that we're checking on them when they're home, depending on what their special needs are, and connecting with adults that support them emotionally and socially as well. All right, our historical data is what I want to share with you all. In 2018, we developed a new accountability system in our state, and it ranks our schools from unsatisfactory to excellence. And in 2018 was the first year for that. So I want to kind of look through that data and talk about how we've moved in the past years up until now, and also look at our beginning of the year data that we have for this year based on our NWEA reports. Now, I wore my glasses so that I can see this, but they're not working for this. So I'm going to walk over to this board here to make sure that I can see it. All right, so what we have here is our state report card from 2018 to 22 with our 23 goal. And the report card is broken into several areas. Academic achievement, and that simply in elementary school speaks to 3rd through 5th grade ELA and math. And then preparing for success, that's specific to 4th grade science. So those scores are pulled from just the 4th grade science. Now ELL progress is based on somewhat of a growth measure based on those students' starting points when they enter our ELL program. And then the next one, that's hard for me to see, is our school environment. The scoring on it changed just a bit. The first year it was kind of just engagement, but it moved into some other areas that allowed for us to grow in that area as well. But that was an area of concern from the very beginning, along with those other two, progress, preparing for success in ELL, because they've kind of gone down each year. These other areas, student progress, super important to us, specifically when I share this next set of data with us. We want to make sure that we're meeting our students where we are and that we're growing them to not only to the next level, but to grade level and beyond. So that student progress number there is based on cohorts of students that start in a certain place and then grow to the next level using those ELA and math SC Ready scores as well. So that's the growth measure component of it, and there's been an additional piece added to it this year. And then finally, the overall points, and I know it's hard for you all to see, but overall points that we received in 2018 was 30. That rendered us an unsatisfactory as well as put us on the priority schools list. We definitely were not pleased with that, so we began to make adjustments. Then we had those 2 years of COVID where there was no score. The next year we actually lost 2 points and did a root cause and realized where we needed to really provide more focus going into the next years. But then the 2 years where we had COVID, we did not have any scores. Moved into this last year, and our overall score was a score of 38, which allowed us to move out of the priority status and actually not needing any additional support. So we were proud of that movement that we were able to render. However, we've got a long way to go based on the data that we're looking at right now. So, you know, we're at a below average. Our goal is to get to a good to great. Next year, our goal is 58 points. That's what we want to be able to earn on that report card with the continued focus on that student progress area. Now, when we look at this data, this is our MAP data. We use this because it is a measure, it's a growth measure for students. So wherever they start, we have an expectation for their growth from their starting point. So that I'm not too loquacious, I'm just going to speak to this data very, very shortly. If you look at the red and the orange, those are percentages of students that are below the 40th percentile. Those students raise a red flag in that they are well below their grade level. So when you look at our data, we're averaging a little over 60% of those students in reading beginning the year below grade level. That has nothing to do with the instruction that's been provided to them at that grade level this year yet. So we're starting at this point. So we've got an arduous task ahead of us to get our students beyond that, to that next grade level and beyond. So when you have that large number of students in the needing support range, we've got to deliver our instruction in a different way. We've got to have passion for our students and utilize our data to make instructional decisions that make sense for those individual students as well as those groups. Very similar in math. I think I hit it twice. Very similar in math. You know, you look at our first grade, 65% of those students are below the 40th percentile, 70% at second grade, 70% at third grade, 65 at fourth, and then another 67 at fifth grade in math. So we've got work to do in terms of moving those groups of students to grade level and beyond. And at the same time, making sure that we do not lose the focus on those small percentages of students that are above the grade level, providing them with that extension support that they need as well. Again, that makes the instructional process in a school like ours a little bit different from what you would see in a school where you've got large swaths of students that are at grade level. We have to do some things that are a little bit more intensive and intentional for our students. Overall percentiles across the school, if you look at that, with 69% at that below and well below, and then 68% in math. So respectively, very, very close, the number of students that are showing up to us below the grade level. So what do we do about that? Set our goals. Our goals, first one is to enable a 1.5-year grade level growth for every student, as demonstrated by their student grade level growth measure. We have, not only do we have our NWA and MAP data, we also utilize our HMA growth measures as well. They line up very, very closely, but we want to make sure that each of our students have the opportunity to grow a 1.5 years, to include those students that are our students at the top of the tier. Increase parental satisfaction and engagement opportunities through two-way communication and ongoing parental support informational sessions. We hold principals chats. We have a number of events that we're doing throughout the year to give our parents an opportunity to be a part of this process, because we can't do it without them. The task that we have is a tough task, but it's doable. We just need all hands on deck. And we connect with every student through our House of Champions system that I showed you at the beginning of the slides. We also enable a safe physical, social, and emotional environment for all students through positive behavior intervention strategies and needs-based safety nets program. Different students require different things, so we have to kind of differentiate our approaches for our students to make sure that we're giving them all that they need, both academically and socially, emotionally. We must provide students with relevant and rigorous learning opportunities, parents opportunities to engage, teachers support, and strategies to improve the effectiveness. Then we're on our mission of empowering all to grow and achieve. How does that happen? All of us have to work together to achieve our mission. You have to have caring and well-planned educators, and then those educators, I can't see it, goodness, provide happy and healthy, productive learners is the goal there. And then those happy and healthy, productive learners lend themselves to increasing academic aptitude. And I think this is for our community altogether. We want a brighter future for all of our students through doing these things, but it takes us all. And when we do that, if I can get this to go, together we're champions. We get these types of celebrations and opportunities to pump our fist about the work that we've done. We've got to do the work first, and we must do it together. And then we can render ourselves champions. This is my report for us tonight, and I appreciate our champions coming and joining us to see this presentation in terms of our champion teacher staff, and thank you all for your time and attention.
Thank you, Mr. Watson. Now I will turn it over to Dr. Thomas for the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, those in attendance, and those viewing online. If I could have, Ford has a very special place in my heart because I attended school here. So if I could have the staff to stand, I see that you all are all dressed in blue. You'll just stand and thank you for your work. Thank you. I'm very excited to be able to share different initiatives and events that are happening in our district. Very excited about just having a great start to the 23-24 school year. We're off to a great start, and it's very hard to believe that we are already nearing the end of the first 9 weeks. As I visit schools, it is evident that teachers and students alike are excited about teaching and learning. We're committed to our mission of empowering and inspiring all to be educated and informed, and our focus continues to be on the main thing, which continues to be our students. We have overarching goals that continue to guide our work. They are safety and a positive school culture, high quality instruction to increase student achievement, effective communication, and increased family engagement opportunities for our families. These goals help us as we implement our theme for this year of elevate your impact for every child, every chance, every day. I want to make you all aware of some upcoming events that are coming up in our school district. This evening we will have our homecoming parade. We hope that you all will plan to participate or attend, and that will take place at 6:30. And we also have our homecoming game this Friday against Greer High School. Reading Under the Stars is scheduled for October the 20th, Friday. That's on a Friday, and this event will take place at K.C. Hanna Stadium from 6 until 7 p.m. I'm very excited to be able to announce that we received the Teacher and School Leader Incentive Grant. We received notification from Senator Lindsey Graham's office last week that our district had been awarded the highly competitive Teacher and School Leader Incentive Grant. In the first year, we will receive over $3 million with a projected amount of in excess of $13.5 million over the next 3 years. I had the privilege of traveling to Washington, D.C. to engage with legislators and passionately advocate for this grant for our students, our educators, and our community. This grant's immense impact on our district and community cannot be overstated. It is a milestone that will shape the future of education for generations to come. I am so excited about this partnership, continued partnership with NIET. Through this funding, we will be able to build capacity, elevate the effectiveness of our teachers and our leaders, continue to improve student achievement, and enhance our recruitment and retention efforts. These resources will empower us to provide an even higher quality of education, ensuring that each student receives the opportunities and support they need to thrive. The research states that there's a 14-to-1 return on investment by implementing this system. The benefits include reduced crime and felony offenses and increased achievement and graduation results. This grant represents a turning point for our district and our overall community. Again, we're very excited about this opportunity and what this means for our students, our teachers, and our community. I do want to take an opportunity to thank you all who wrote letters of support, to thank everyone for all the phone calls and the emails, and again, we're just so excited about the immense impact that this will have on our students, our educators, and our community. For the past 3 years, Lawrence County School District 55 has participated in the West Ed Early Math Initiative. This is a research grant provided through the U.S. Department of Education. The focus of this research is to provide effective, developmentally appropriate mathematical instructional strategies. The purpose is to support and strengthen our school readiness and achievement by building strong math foundations for our 4-year-old kindergarten students. During the 23-24 school year, control teachers will participate in professional development to receive the same instructional strategies, materials, and resources that the teachers involved in the research project received during their training. This year is our first year of implementation of the modified calendar. During October the 3rd through the 5th, Lawrence District 55 will be offering support during intersession. During this time, students will focus on targeted skills to strengthen math and reading foundations and time for content recovery. It is also an opportunity for attendance recovery. Intersession will be held on each of our school campuses. Transportation, breakfast, and lunch will be provided. Breakfast will begin at 7:30, and the hours of intersession are from 8 until 1 p.m. We also have fall break that is scheduled October the 2nd through the 13th. We have been working together for over a year with Lawrence County School District 56, with legislators, with Piedmont Technical College, and community leaders on a county-wide career and technical education center. We will continue this partnership and collaboration and this work on October the 4th to discuss our plans for the $2.5 million that we're receiving that will be used for site prep for our future Kate Center. We're very excited about this opportunity as well. The data still indicates the need for parent academy sessions that focus on mental health. We're excited to continue to partner with the Cook Center for Human Connection to provide these opportunities for our students, our educators, and our families. Our next Parent Academy session is on October the 19th from 6 to 7. It's a virtual event and it's titled Bullying, Stop the Cycle. Additional information can be found on our website at www.lawrence55.org, and you can also find a menu of our parent guidance series for all of our upcoming sessions as well. We're also excited to be able to provide some financial fitness for our families and our communities. We've partnered with Edward Jones to provide financial fitness for families to help our parents be able to help our students with the life skills of having good financial fitness. We will have a virtual session on October the 24th at 12 at noon, and an in-person session on October the 24th at 5:30 at the district office. We invite all parents and families and community members to attend these important sessions. There's also information that can be found on our website. We have been working diligently on updating our district strategic plan. The strategic plan serves as a roadmap that outlines the goals, objectives, and strategies for future development and improvement to achieve specific outcomes. It answers the questions: where are we now? Where are we going? How will we work together on behalf of our students to reach our optimal future? We will focus on Strategic Plan Priority 2 this month, recruitment, retention, and development of staff, and we have a team that's here to share information about this priority. Again, we will share the different priorities at each of our upcoming meetings. The state recently released state test scores for SC Ready, SC Pass, and of course, we applaud the fact that we make gains and improvements as a district on SC Ready and SC Pass from 21-22 to 22-23 in all grade levels, with the exception of a decrease in 8th grade math. When we also looked at our growth, we saw that our percentage of growth outperformed the state. We are pleased that we are seeing gains and moving in the right direction. However, the data also points that we still have work to do, and we have a team in place and everyone's rolled up their sleeves and they're ready to do the work that's ahead. We will continue to focus on our continued improvement as we make progress for every child, every chance, every day. As State Superintendent Weaver said in her press release, it's important that we use the data as a tool and not as a weapon, and that we're doing just that as we continue to dig into the data and to use it to guide our professional development, our trainings, and our focus. John Hattie's research shows that teachers are the single most important classroom factor in a child's learning achievement. He synthesized 1,000 research reviews of 50,000 studies and found that the greatest influence on student progression and learning is having high-quality, inspirational, and passionate teachers in the classroom. We truly appreciate our teachers, and we thank them for choosing Lawrence County School District 55. We also want to thank them for their hard work and for all that they do each day for the students that we serve in our district. We have many initiatives in place to help continue to build capacity and support our teachers, including the recent notification of the Teacher and School Leader Incentive Grant. We have many systems and strategies in place this year to make additional gains and to continue to move in the right direction. We've worked hard on analyzing the data, looking at our curriculum, our systems, and setting intentional goals for continuous improvement. Ms. Lacker Rose, Director of Federal Programs and Accountability, will share additional information, detailed information regarding the assessment data and next steps. At this time, I am happy to answer any questions regarding my portion. Okay. I would like at this time to recognize Ms. Renee Madden, Dr. Jason Bailey, Ms. Kim Penland, Dr. Tina Faulkner, and Ms. Emily Starling to share information about Strategic Plan Priority 2, recruitment, retention, and development of staff. They've worked very hard on this priority, and so thank you all so much for being here to share information.
Madam Superintendent, Madam Board Chair, board members, audience members, good evening. As Dr. Thomas stated, we are in the midst of completing the strategic plan. Our committee is responsible for, we are responsible for strategic priority 2, recruitment, retention, and development of staff. The committee members are me, I'm Renee Madden. We also have Dr. Faulkner, Dr. Bailey, Mrs. Starling, and Mrs. Penland. The main goals our committee will strive to accomplish are: we hope to diversify recruitment strategies to ensure high-quality staff, continue to develop partnerships with local businesses to implement additional strategies to retain effective staff, and foster a culture where staff are appreciated and their input and opinions are valued and utilized. We hope to also ensure relevant data and detailed professional training and expectations of growth for all staff, as well as increase the learning capacity of staff in various content areas. Our plan begins with looking at specific baseline data from 2022. The data our committee will track includes current recruitment strategies, staff retention percentages, district and school climate data, observation and teacher reflection data, and student test scores.
Good evening. I'm Tina Faulkner, and the part of my presentation has to do with recruitment. So we want to expand over the 3 years how we recruit in Lawrence District 55, and the first thing we thought we would look at is what we already have in our district. We have a number of teachers or a number of staff that are good in the classroom, as well as business partners that might make good teachers. So we thought we would look at that first and foremost and see what we already have in our district. Secondly, we will expand out. We already send 55 staff to college visits, but Ms. Madden and I and the committee decided that we needed to expand that a little more and send charismatic people out that know the subject matter that might be able to recruit in for us as well. And one of the things that we want to expand is our participation at regional historical black colleges and universities so that we can work on diversification. That is something that we'd like to do, as well as traditional recruiting events. We want to continue to do that as well. And then we talked about maybe holding recruiting events throughout the year at Lawrence 55 where we expand that from what we already do. So those are 4 highlights of our recruitment process. Thank you for allowing us to show our work.
Good job.
Good evening, I'm Jason Bailey, the principal at E.B. Morris Elementary School, and I'm going to talk about our retention strategies. The first thing that we have is to investigate the possibility of retention bonuses for staff after 3 years of service in the district. We all know that one component of school success is having a stable staff, and so that is our effort in doing so. We also want to forge community partnerships to sponsor staff appreciation events, such as teacher staff appreciation and beginning end of the year functions. Those go a long way with staff morale and showing them that us as school leaders, we appreciate them. Finally, we want to implement strategies, events, and opportunities to foster a culture where staff feel appreciated, supported, and valued. We want our staff to know that communication is a two-way street and that we value their communication. Thank you.
All right, good job. Pump it up.
Hello, I'm Emily Starling, principal at Hickory Tavern School. And I also was part of this team where we were talking about the development of our staff and those strategies that we want to use there. Each year at the beginning of the school year, our staff goes through policies and procedures, and we go through those trainings at the beginning of each year. We also have some things in place where we are surveying, and we will continue to survey the mental health needs of our staff and make sure that we are addressing those needs and what programs are out there so that we can support our staff along the way. The third bullet is about develop and implementing mini courses. We've done this for several years, and it's always a good thing to see what individual needs our teachers have. They will share those things with us, and then we can plan what they need specifically so that they can grow. We develop those mini courses from our walkthroughs, from instructional time with our teachers, and so that's kind of how we come up with what we need to do for that and their opinion. We also want to look in the 3-year time period and determine the feasibility of early release so that we have intentional time for some staff development. And we also want to continue, and I think with our award of the program through NIET that we'll see this happen where there is lots of support at the school level for professional development using the matrix that the state has given us, our standards, so that we can improve our Tier 1 instruction.
Good job. Pump it up.
Good evening. I'm Kim Penland, and I'm the principal of Waterloo Elementary School. And last but not least, as part of our plan, we also want to work on the development of leadership strategies. And so we do plan to do that. We've done some of this in the past and would like to continue to create and implement a program for staff who are currently in building leadership positions but who want to become assistant principals or principals, which would include an application process, training, recommendations, and program acceptance. And then by year 3, the program will include a system for partnering with local colleges and universities for staff to enroll in leadership cohorts. Thank you.
Pump it up, good job. All right, 16.
Thank you so much for this team. It's very tedious work, so I do appreciate you all sharing that information. The schools are currently working on their school implementation plans as well. So thank you all so much for sharing Strategic Plan Priority 2, Recruitment, Retention, and Development of Staff. At this time, Dr. Harris will present Operations and Maintenance Report.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas, Ms. Little, the rest of the board for the opportunity to present the facilities report tonight. I'll begin with what's been going on in maintenance since June. From June until today, they reported 606 maintenance requests came through their office, 606. And we have 8 maintenance workers, 9 schools, and also Lawrence Prep, so they're stretched pretty thin. But they have right now 102 outstanding or in-process projects that they're doing right now, and so they're very busy and have been very busy all through the summer. The next thing I'll talk about is facility safety. This is one of our 3 main goals here in the district. One of the things that we do for this is our monthly fire inspections. Phil Roberts is here tonight. He's going to talk to you a little bit about synergistic and some other things. And he does a tremendous job for us going out into our schools and looking and seeing how we're doing with Act 256, those items that we have to report on every month to the state and input that data into the state, but also just overall fire and building safety that we have. He's taken a look at that. So you should feel good about, and your constituents should feel good about the fact that we have eyes, and very good eyes, very qualified eyes, on a lot of different phases of safety here in the district going on every week. We're making progress in these areas. As he goes into schools, we're making some progress. There's some things that we can improve upon, but all the things that we need to improve upon are very fixable, and I feel like we're moving more and more towards compliance. Another partner in school safety is Skisbit. You guys had tonight somebody from the School Boards Association here to talk with you. Skisbit is an arm of the South Carolina School Boards Association, and it is the group that we get our insurance through. They also help us to have schools that are safe in terms of what's going on with fire, chemical, all types of hazards. They deal with slips, trips, and falls. We talk a lot about this stuff with our principals, and they go back into their buildings and make sure that those buildings are safe. This is a group that does our workman's compensation, and we try to avoid that as best we can. Skisbit allows 2 school inspections every year, free of charge to us, and also 2 playground inspections free of charge to us every year. To get that, we go to a conference that they put on every year called the Risky Business Conference, and that will be going on next month. We have set up our committees that we have to have, our safety committees, to go along with their expectations. That happens in the schools twice a year, and at the district level twice a year as well. So safety, again, one of the big things, big focuses for us in operations and maintenance. We've been doing a lot of different projects around the district. I just want to list a few of those for you. A lot of these involve athletics, and it's maybe a little bit unusual that so many have fallen together at the same time, but you need to understand that we have some aging facilities here in the district in terms of athletics, and so that sometimes has to be taken care of. This year, just recently, we've done some work on our basketball court. Every several years, you have to go into the basketball court at the high school, and you have to take it down a deep sanding and then repainting and refinishing that floor, and it looks really tremendous. I tell you, you'll be, if you haven't seen it already, you'll be very pleased with what the basketball court looks like right now. And I know those coaches out there are pleased with it, and our students as well. We will be adding goal lifts, electric goal lifts. Right now, they're having to do that by hand. We want to improve that and improve the safety of that by making those electric, and that work will be done next month. The upstairs bleachers in the gym also will have railings added. That's coming very soon, and that's something that's been needed for a while, and we're about to do that job. Just last week, I got a call from the cheerleading coach at the high school, and she was asking about mats for that group. They are now in competition cheer, and so I felt like we had done a lot for some other teams, and we needed to do something for them. And so we will be ordering those this week. I got the okay from the finance office today to go ahead and order those mats, and they are very happy and going to be very happy with that purchase. Also, the baseball field. We've done a lot of work down at the baseball field recently. We had a safety problem down our third base line. There was over time, the way it had worn, it was a drop off over on the third base line that was pretty significant. It was dangerous for somebody going in that direction over there, so we had to come through and do a laser leveling of the entire infield. All that grass had to come up, new grass was planted, but that's some work that's been long overdue, and I know Toe Patterson is very happy to have had that done. So it's a safety enhancements for us, and also we had some new lighting that was put in the hitting facility, and that facility serves both the baseball team and the softball team. So that's something that we've done just recently. We have some, as we went through site assessments, we have some things that we have to do in the area of ADA and making sure we're compliant in those areas. We do have a young lady at the high school this year who's in a wheelchair, and we realized that the ramp that we had in the library was not sufficient for her or anybody that might be in a wheelchair. So we are working right now with National Ramp to install an ADA compliant ramp in the library at the high school. That should be going in as soon as we can get that. I'm supposed to order it tomorrow, and it'll be just a few weeks until we get that in. And if you noticed on your way in tonight, the Lawrence High School Building Construction Group replaced this ramp just outside this building this past week. It did a tremendous job for us, saved us some money out there, and got some experience in building. And I want to thank Mr. Adams and his students for coming over and providing that for Ford. We have a BARD project, an HVAC project going on right now, or getting ready to go on at Gray Court Owings. I had the 3 bids that we got for that came in today. We do have a winning bid, and that will be announced. I will announce that to those contractors tomorrow. We'll be replacing 4 BARD units in their auditorium. And then we'll do some other BARD work a little bit later on. BARD systems are the individual systems like you see in here. These are individual systems that run off one thermostat. So we'll be putting those in at Gray Court Owings. Okay. Our Sanders classrooms and lab additions right now, that project is back with the architect. He is redrawing some plans, and we're going to have to rebid that job. We came in over budget with just something we could not make it. So there's been some changes to that. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you before, but the changes are we're not going to have to do the driveway around the back like we thought we were going to have to. The highway department allowed us to not have to do that, and that should save some money. That should save some site work. So once it goes to rebid, when they come back, hopefully we're going to get a contractor and we'll get into a price range that is much more suitable for us. So that also, there'll be some HVAC specifications that will change in that job, and some awning specifications that will change in that job, and that will help reduce the money that we have to spend there. Our hopes to get this to a more reasonable bid and move forward just as quickly as we can. Synergistic, Phil Roberts is going to talk to you about Synergistic in just a minute. Again, he has done a tremendous job for us in this area. He is very detailed, and he goes out and sees these schools every week to try to make sure that we get savings, that we realize all the savings that we can through saving energy. We need to do a better job in our schools, and I talked to Dr. Thomas a little bit about this today through an email. We need to do a better job in our schools of setting back these thermostats at the end of the day and on weekends. If we can do that, we'll realize even more money saved, and that money that's saved can go back into the classroom. So again, Phil's going to talk to you about that in just a second. Some next projects that we have coming up. We have a big cameras and door security system and automated gates project coming up, and right now we're just waiting on the equipment to be delivered. CSS is the group right out of Lawrence, right here, CSS, Certified Security Systems. They will be doing that work for us. They were the winning bid there. And Ford will be the first school that we will start at. So we'll begin that work right here. Blue Ridge Data Services is another contractor that's involved in that. They're out of the upstate, and they will be doing a safety gate for the nurse's office out at the high school. We'll continue with HVAC updates. This is something that we look at every year. HVAC is something that you just have to keep. You just kind of have to stay ahead of it, and we'll be continuing with that. Classroom door hardware and code compliance is something that we're focusing on. We're going to be looking at some carpet replacement out at the high school, and I even want to look at the lecture theater and hopefully find somebody that can work some new carpet into that area as well. Intercession projects that we have going on will be at Gray Court Owens. We'll have some hallway sealing and painting going on out there. We're going to have some roof work starting at the high school at the beginning of intercession, and then we will be I'll be going through with a contractor to look at flooring needs, taking some old carpet out at the high school and replacing that with tile. We'll do that during that time as well. Air purifiers are right now out for service for new filters and bulbs, and they'll be coming back to us very soon. We're hoping for a safety grant award that could determine some additional projects and getting some money there to help with some things that we need. We're also going to have to take a look at the Lawrence District High School track. That track is old, it's tearing up, and we're either going to have to find somebody that can fix some places for us and get us by a little bit more time, or we're going to have to look at replacing that. So in these projects, we'll continue to look at our needs, to look at our roofing plan, to look at our site assessment plan, and try to figure out exactly where our priorities should be. We're dealing with a new procurement code. Jim Lawless and I are working together to try to make sure that we're following this new state procurement. There are a lot more rules in this. There are a lot more requirements for bidding and transparency, and we are subject to audits through this thing. So we want to make sure that we're understanding everything, and he and I are going to get some training pretty soon on our new procurement code. Lastly, how do we determine needs here in our district? Well, we work off these plans right now, working through our roofing plan. We're focusing on our site assessments. We get a lot of input from our principals. You heard from them just a minute ago. They're a very good group, and they have a lot of great ideas. Information from our maintenance request system and maintenance staff observations. We prioritize jobs on that. Consultant input and opinions, and also custodial input regarding machinery needs and building needs. And lastly, recently we visited, last year actually, we visited Woodmont Middle and went in some math classrooms, and they had some furniture there that we thought was very interesting. They had tables that students could work at collaboratively, and they could actually draw, use markers on the tables to do math problems together. We thought that was a good idea. They seemed to be enjoying themselves as they were doing that. They were able to work together a lot better. We purchased those last year for all of our middle school math programs. All of our middle schools, those math classrooms now have those tables. They're enjoying that. We've got some pictures from that. We'll be monitoring that this year to see if we need to put those in other classrooms throughout the district. So it's nice to see when operations can see something that directly affects the classrooms that students are enjoying. and that is the facilities report.
Thank you, Dr. Harris.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. At this time, Ms. Amanda Lacrose, if you would please come forward to share additional information regarding our state assessment data.
Hello, I'm Amanda Lacrose. I am the Director of Accountability, Federal Programs, Professional Learning. And as I sat here and listened to the beginning part of the meeting, I realized that Mr. Carpenter, you started as a school board member when I started as a building superintendent, as a building administrator. So I've been in administration since 1999. 18 years of that was in school, has been in school improvement. So you probably remember No Child Left Behind. And that's really where accountability started. And so, you know, why do we do accountability? We do it so that we can identify, are our students ready to be college and career ready, which is the profile of a South Carolina graduate. So are we on track? And it gives us ideas of what we're doing well as where we need to target to improve or to change things a little bit. So I want to share a little bit today about, one, I'll talk about the assessments. We had some changes since in the past, even just from last year. You can see our growth, our result, and our growth over time, as well as our growth compared to the rest of the state, and then a little bit of a connection to our report card ratings. Keep in mind, all the information that you hear tonight goes into the report card ratings that will be released next month. On October 10th, the report card ratings will be released, and this is a significant part of that. So first off, we have SC Ready. SC Ready is given in grades 3 through 8 in both English Language Arts and in math, and it's given every year. We have SC Pass, which is grades 4 and 6 in science. And then we have end of course exams at the high school in English 2, Algebra, Biology 1, and US History and Constitution. Upcoming this school year in SC Pass, the science assessment will be targeted on the next generation science standards, so it will be a different assessment, and so it will be brand new to our students as well as to our staff. In the end of course exams for this past year, so the data that you will see, they used to do end of course exams in English 1, and last year they did English 2. So just something to keep in mind. So when we get to that chart, you'll kind of see a little bit of a difference. So first off, I'm going to talk about SC Ready, which again is grades 3 through 8, English Language Arts, and math. Reading really is the foundation for all other learning, and the state released that same thing with their statement when they released these scores. You can see that I have included 5 years worth of data, 6 years worth of information, because one of them is the COVID waiver year, so we don't have data from that year. When looking at school improvement, it's important to look at data over a period of time. We don't want to take just one snapshot of 1 year. It doesn't tell us a whole lot, but 3 to 5 years is really what we want to look at. So I've provided 5 years for you. You will notice in the past 3 years that we have seen a steady increase in our percentage of students meeting or exceeding the standards for English Language Arts performance. When we talk about that, you'll notice, for example, in 3rd grade, we went from 32.9 to 34.1. In 4th grade, 30.9 to 42.2%. I want to stick to that little corner right there for a minute, because when we compare grade level to grade level, we're comparing a group of students to a different group of students the following year. If we want to see how a particular group of students may have progressed, we can look at them diagonally. So in 2022, our group of 3rd graders, 32.9% were proficient, and last year, when they got to 4th grade, after the instruction, 42.2% increase. And so you will notice that we not only increased vertically, but we also increase diagonally when you look at groups of students. It's very easy to do that with English language arts because English language arts standards are relatively consistent, and what they do is they spiral in complexity as students go from kindergarten up to 12th grade. Math is a little different in that the standards, the content really changes when it comes to math, but in English language arts you can see that that there is some significant growth here. And so I can tell you from 18 years of school improvement, and I was not here last year, so I can't take any credit for this. This is a big deal. This is not typical, this volume of growth across the board like this. And so we've looked at a lot of things to try to identify why do we think that's happening. I have kind of that objective lens coming in that I wasn't here, so I can see things from that maybe I wasn't in it. And a lot of it is, and school improvement data will show you that curriculum resources, when they are aligned to the standards, and the district went to HMH curriculum resource and started to implement that with Fidelity last year, and there's a significant impact in our scores, so it's most likely that is a contributing factor. The other is, just like the state released in their public release, our teachers have been involved in letters training, which is professional development in the area of phonics, and they've been involved in that last year. We added a whole new cohort this year, so all of our teachers at the primary level will have letters training by the end of next school year, and that has quality professional development is shown to have impacts in student achievement as well. So like I said, accountability really is about identifying where you are and where you need to be and what's working and where do you need to focus next. So our teachers have really been working hard in implementing a lot of new strategies and resources. Not an easy thing to do, so congratulations to them. They've worked hard, and it's showing. Now, are we where we want to be? No, but we're on the right track. And so I think if we continue to pour into those areas that are working, we'll continue to see growth. In the area of math, again, we also had a new curriculum resource for the district in the area of math, the HMH math. Even the state says that as a whole, the state needs to dig deeper into our math data. We need to continue to dig deeper as well and identify what is working, what isn't, and how can we do even more. We know that with English language arts, with that quality professional development and that curriculum resource, we saw significant growth really for 2 years now. And in math, we're starting to see some growth in every grade level with the exception of 8th grade. We saw it this year. So we're starting to get some momentum. We need to continue that, and that actually is one of our primary focuses this year for our schools to start to really dig deeper into our data, identify what areas we need more assistance with, and then we need to target our professional development in those areas. So next up I'll talk about SC Pass, which is science for 4th and 6th grade. There used to be 8th grade, and so that's why you see it. As I mentioned, I like to provide 5 years worth of data. The assessment has changed a little bit in between there, and it's going to change again. And the next generation science standards have been around for a while. South Carolina is adopting them a little later than some others, so we have some quality examples and curriculum resources that are out there because the different vendors and things have been targeting NGSS standards for a number of years so far. But they really are focused on inquiry and engineering principles and practices within what we typically remember from science. So there will be some changes to that. We did see growth again in both 4th grade and 6th grade since for the past 3 years. And so again, the work that the teachers and our leadership are doing in looking at data and really digging in and making sure that our lessons are focused on standards and ensuring we're using quality, effective teaching practices is having some impact. And as I said before, are we where we want to be? Absolutely not. We still have a way to go, and we want to continue to experience this growth, and we also need to close the gap. And so this graph right here, the top 3 bars are the percentage of growth that Lawrence 55 experienced. In blue, it's in English language arts. In red, orange is math, and in yellow is science. The bottom 3 bars are the percentage of growth that the state saw. So not only did we see significant growth in SC Ready and SC Pass, but we saw more growth than what the state saw. So what that means is we're starting to close that gap, where if we were 40 percentage points behind, maybe now we're 35 percentage points behind. I just pulled that number completely out of the blue. That's not any of the actual data, but what we're saying is we're closing that gap. So we're on the right track, and we're going to continue to work on that. And hopefully we'll continue to see us closing that gap year after year, not just our scores increasing. The next area that I want to talk about is our end of course exams, and those are given at the high school. As I mentioned, we had English 1 that has been given in the past, and then this year it was English 2. We have Algebra 1 exams, Biology 1 exams, and then U.S. History and Constitution. It is typical for you to see school improvement in your earlier grades before you see it in your upper grades. However, since all students matter, we can't just shrug and say, oh, well, you know, we'll wait till they catch up. We're going to continue to focus on quality curriculum resources, effective professional development for our teachers. You'll see there was a pretty significant jump in U.S. history and the Constitution. Teaching and Learning really worked with that group of teachers last year. They brought in the State Department of Ed, and they did a lot of work on standards and working on using higher level questioning in their instruction. And that really seemed to raise the level of our students' ability to demonstrate mastery on their exam. So we're going to take what we know works and apply that in our other areas as well. So, and our high school is one of our deep dive schools this year. When we work with NIET, they identify deep dive schools each year that they work with, and the high school is one of them that they will be working with this school year. So we're looking forward to that. So in summary, we have seen a lot of growth. We experienced significant growth. It's not typical to see that big of a jump consistently across the board as well as diagonally. We're closing the gap because our growth across the board in grades 3 through 8 was more than others when we compare it to the state. Our report card ratings, these results are a significant portion of the report card ratings that will be released next month. So when we release those, keep in mind it's about 70% of the report card rating is these achievement scores as well as the growth. So growth is about half of that 70%. This is a process, so we've seen more growth in our lower grades than our upper grades, and that is typical, and we'll continue to target the data to identify what is working for our professional development, for example, letters, that standards-based work, that higher level questioning that was done at the high school, and we will identify the areas that we need to change and to improve on. So with that, I don't know if people have questions or?
Thank you, Ms. Lackarose.
Yep.
Were there any questions for Ms. Lackarose? Okay. So I would like to take this opportunity once again. I would like to take an opportunity once again to just say thank you to our teachers, to our staff and to our administrators for the tremendous amount of hard work that they put in each and every day as they work with the students that we serve. So thank you so much to all of our staff for all of your hard work. There's also a lot of work that we have to do, but we also have a lot to celebrate in our district, and for that, I'm truly thankful. And at this time, that concludes my superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. Before we move into board operations, I just want to make two comments. One, thank you, Dr. Thomas, and everyone at the DO, and Mr. Watson and your team, and everyone involved in the meeting for accommodating your schedule for us to have our board meeting at 5 o'clock tonight, so in hopes to get to some of the parade, for the homecoming parade. And then also, Dr. Thomas, I just want to congratulate you on the teacher incentive grant. That's amazing for our district, and I can't wait to see how that plays out. So, now we'll move to board operations, and Ms. Jennifer Abercrombie.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Thomas. I'm here tonight to present to you in accordance with the State Board of Education, Regulation 23-243, and this will require a board vote. In your packet, you received a request for approval for 50 courses that will be offered at Lawrence District 55 High School for the 2024-2025 school year.
If everyone's had an opportunity to review those courses, we would need a motion in order to move forward with Ms. Abercrombie's request.
I'll make a motion.
A second.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Nance. Are there any questions? All right, we have a motion on the table to approve the 24-25 local board approved courses for Lawrence District 55 High School. All those in favor, please raise your hand. That's unanimous. As Mr. Carpenter, it's 6, and Mr. Carpenter stepped away from the table. So, so that is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we have our information for the delegate assembly. To the board, you've received information on this in your packet. We don't have any action to take tonight, but at our next board meeting, we will need to appoint 2 individuals to attend the conference and vote at the delegate assembly on our behalf. So just keep that in mind, take a look at the dates, and see if it's something that you're interested in participating in. Next up, we have our policy BEDH, and this is really for just a first reading. Due to some inconsistencies with our forms and our board policy that were realized at one of our last meetings, we did go through and make just some minor adjustments in this policy, mainly about timing and doing some rewording to make sure that the policy and the form actually match. So this does not require board action because it is a first reading, but it is in your packet, and if you have any questions, we can certainly talk about it. So, if there's no discussion there, we can move on to finance and operations and our synergistics report with Mr. Roberts.
Good evening. This is the synergistic report for August 2023. The Lawrence County School District's 55 rolling 12-month energy use index is 25.19%. We have decreased our energy usage to date by 13.5%. To give you an idea of where we are compared to the national average with energy usage, according to the New Building Institutes, the K through 12 national average for energy use index is 58.2, and we are sitting currently at 25.19. So we're doing a great job there, and we're just looking to keep improving every month. Synergistic added an LED light adjustment that I mentioned last month at the board meeting. This adjustment came out to $30,833, and this has been deducted from our overall cost-to-date savings. So currently our program cost-to-date savings is $79,267.59. And this is a savings increase of over 7% for the month of August. And that will finish that. Do we have any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Now we have our monthly financial report with Mr. Lawless.
Good evening. I think everybody had an opportunity to look over the financial report for the month of August. Our balance with the Treasurer's Office at the end of August was $11,701,519, with general fund revenues for the first 2 months of $5,260,469, and expenditures for the same period of $5,683,594, for a negative difference of $423,125. I would note that that looks significantly different than it does in looking at the prior year, and there's a good reason for it. When we switched to the modified calendar, we changed the way we account for payroll. Our teachers and most of our district staff get paid throughout the year, and traditionally, every pay period throughout the summer up until our first pay period of August, which is paid on August 10th, is actually attributable to time that was earned during the school year through June. So while we were paying it in July and August and up to August 10th, it was being accrued back to the month of June. Because we returned to school earlier this year, we actually paid out everything attributable to the prior year during the month of July. And so the reason that it looks significantly different is because there's 2 pay periods instead of 1. Payroll and benefit costs are the vast majority of anything that we do in our district's general fund. So that difference is significant, and but it's attributable to timing, not actually a cash flow difference. And the tax collections for the month of August were $339,766. Does anybody have any questions about the monthly financial report?
So in regards to the delta, so I assume once we get past this, it's going to kind of level out?
Yeah, so you'll see, generally school districts run a deficit balance during the early fall until the tax revenues start coming in. But yeah, it should be comparable period over period.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lawless. Now we move to our public participation. Individuals who submitted the required form for public participation portion of the meeting are strongly encouraged to maintain appropriate decorum while addressing the board. Please remember that this is a meeting of a public school board and children may either be in attendance or watching via live stream. Please use appropriate language reflecting the nature of the meeting and its audience. Pursuant to Board Policy BEDH, speakers may offer objective comments on school operations and programs that concern them. The board will not permit any public session, any expression of personal complaints about school personnel, nor against any person connected with the school system. Each individual will have 3 minutes to speak. And our first up is Courtney Mills. Courtney Mills?
She's not here.
Okay. Pamela Mills. Okay. Next would be Esther Halker. Esther Halker, A-H-W-K-E-R. Anyone? All right, with that being said, there is no public participation since these individuals did not show up. So now we move to adjournment.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Thank you, Ms. Elders. All those in favor of adjourning? We are adjourned.